Thank you. Good morning, Senator. Good morning, Kelly. Dick Hinch from Merrimack. My question for you is this. Kelly first. We know that jobs is the driver. What specifically would you recommend for us to really get this moving forward once and for all and to solve the woes of the economy?
Thank you, Dick. I would agree that we need to cut taxes, and I think a payroll tax cut is a very good idea, but we need to make sure that we pay for it. I think using the stimulus dollars or other spending cuts, because we can't continue on the path of bankrupting our country. But that is a great idea, to cut taxes on our small businesses and cut through regulations. I talked about it earlier, but you know, the things that they're pushing right now in Washington, whether it's card check, taking away a confidential right to vote and forcing people really to have mandatory arbitration on contracting. Here in New Hampshire, we lost a Job Corps project because the Federal Department of Labor put a PLA requirement on it, and the end result was that New Hampshire contractors couldn't bid on it because they weren't unionized enough, and that New Hampshire people wouldn't have been able to work on that project. So those types of requirements and regulations from Washington on states, I think, have to end to give our small business owners. I think we also need to create, stop the uncertainty that right now is that really puts a burden on our small business owners. One of them is this health care bill, because the health care bill that's being pushed has mandates on small businesses, increases in taxes, and makes it more difficult for our businesses to go out and create jobs. So we have to create a positive climate by making sure that we're not pushing more difficult mandates on small businesses at this time. And I think those are the things that we can be doing to get our economy back on track here in New Hampshire. And one more thing I'll add, we need to make sure that our businesses have access to credit. Because as Senator McCain mentioned, you know, the big banks got bailed out. But our small businesses, I've heard the stories up and down our state, have had much more difficult time getting access to a line of credit, which they need now to create jobs here in New Hampshire.
I have very little to add to that, except I would also cut the corporate tax rate because our corporate taxes are the highest in the world. I would also again, get back to this business of keeping people in their homes and giving them mortgages that they can afford, because it's hard to keep your job and keep working if you're being thrown out of your home. And I want to come back again to small businesses. Accelerated depreciation write-off for creation of new jobs and new equipment that they purchase. Small business are the job creators in America. And unfortunately, we have really ignored them to the great detriment of the job creation in America. Finally, I would also say that it would be good to give some certainty to businesses, large and small, as to what we're going to do on taxes. That means telling the American people we're going to keep the tax cuts and make them permanent, rather than them having to be unsure about what their budget is going to be, including the estate taxes. Many of you know the reductions in the estate tax are about to expire by, I think it's next year. And I would hate to see untimely deaths on New Year's Eve because of the need to pay higher estate taxes on the part of people in America. So let's make sure that we fix the estate tax as well, so that people, if they want to, can pass on to their children and their grandchildren what they've worked all their lives to earn and save. But I agree with Kelly. Yes. Yes.